Okay, hello, year four. I'm really sorry that I'm not able to do our sessions as normal this week, and I wasn't able to see some of you last week. But I actually think this will be a really nice opportunity for you to work together on a final piece of writing. So today's session is a detailed narrative. What is a detailed narrative? Well, it's purposeful, it's descriptive, and it's exciting, interesting, and intriguing. It's a story. It's a good one. So for a detailed narrative to be purposeful, we're looking at setting the scene, characterization, plot development, and meaningful themes. When we set the scene, we're using our setting descriptions. Characterization is where we truly make our villain, our baddie, pure evil. And we do it in everything they do, everything they say, the way they move, the way they look. Plot development is taking the reader on our story mountain. And meaningful themes. If we're going to have this evil villain, then our theme is going to be dark and haunting and horrible. And every choice you make about what you're writing is going to add to that theme. Detailed narratives are descriptive. We use show, not tell. So rather than saying the woman burst open the door, flinging open the door, a dark shadow was cast across the hallway. And then you tell me more and more about this figure, this silhouette blocking light from the door. You slowly reveal to me that this is your character. And we use figurative language, which a lot of you have been doing really brilliantly with. And it's about using it, so not just saying quick as a mouse or as big as an elephant, because that never works. So making it fit your theme. And it's got to be exciting and interesting and intriguing. So we've got to use cliffhangers, which I know you all know. Foreshadowing, we didn't get a chance to look at. Foreshadowing is where we drop little hints along the way to our big problem or our big resolution. So we might not introduce our villain straight away, but lots of the decisions we're going to make in our descriptions and in our interactions with characters are going to let us know something big is going to happen. And then plot twists. Maybe your villain actually is not your villain. And they've been fighting the good fight all along, like our Snape character. Or our dragon in the Dragon and the Girl picture. Maybe he's actually been captured by the girl. So you want to flip everything on its head to shock your reader. So that's what we're doing today. You might be feeling a bit like Sully here. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do all that. That's a lot. It is a lot. You've already been doing it, but I want to see you put it all into one big piece. So, like I said, you've already been doing it. You've done so brilliantly. You should be really, really pleased and proud of yourselves. Me, Miss Barrett, and Mrs. Northeast certainly are. We've been talking quite a lot each week about how impressed we are with how hard you're working and how you're taking what you're doing in your sessions with me and putting it in your writing. And your writing is just really brilliant. And you're in year 4. So you're absolutely ready for year 5, and some of you are already doing year 6 stuff. So it's really, really good. We've been looking at ambitious vocabulary, and we've seen loads of that coming into your writing. We've been looking at expanded noun phrases, clauses, so making our sentences longer by adding embedded clauses and subordinate clauses and relative clauses. Fronted adverbials, moving the story on. And some of you got a chance to look at dialogue, but not everyone. But don't worry too much about that. So our objective for today's lesson, you're going to use a range of descriptive techniques to develop a detailed narrative, including speech. Success criteria. I'd like to see a range of clause structures for effect. So I want to see those complex sentences where you've added extra information and those embedded clauses to tell your reader more and more and more, alongside the short, simple, snappy sentences to get your reader to sit up and take attention again. Ambitious vocabulary to create a purposeful theme. So really thinking about, is that the right word to describe what I'm describing and to create the right image in my reader's head. And we'll look at it later on. But things like with the dragon, some of you use words like gliding, and that tells me he's at peace, he's perhaps won the battle, it's the end of our story. And then we had other words like pounding and colliding, and then that tells me we're in the heat of our story. So really thinking about your word choices. I can accurately use fronted adverbials to move the narrative on effectively. So here it's thinking about the best fit again. So in year 3, you probably did first, next, then, finally. Year 4, you started to do things like quick as a flash, suddenly, all of a sudden. And then some of you I've pushed to start looking at using the verb at the beginning. So running quickly, running for their lives. You can make up your own fronted adverbials to keep your reader moving through your story mountain. And characterization within speech. So this, only some of you got a chance to look at, and hopefully those people can talk to you about it when I finish talking. This is the idea that you tell your reader everything you can about the character, not just from what they're saying, how they say it, what their body does while they say it, what their face is doing. You can tell your reader all sorts from the face and body. Okay, so if your villain is talking, you might describe them hunched over, their eyes narrowed. What does their voice sound like? How are they speaking? Are they fidgeting with their hands, or are they being quite aggressive with their hands? Are they really in the other person's face, or are they pacing around them? What do you want your reader to see in their head? Okay. So we're going to have a look back at some of your work from the past few weeks to show you that actually you've already been doing this. And today I just want to see it all come together in one piece because I've been quite excited by what you're doing and I want to see it all come together. If I haven't got your work on here, it's because you wrote in your book. Some of you I typed up and some of you you wrote in your books. So we looked at this picture a lot. So let's look at Teddy's first. Towering waves of sunlight crashed through the shadowy trees, flooding the forest floor. Okay, so we've got towering waves, crashed, and flooding. They're all in red because they're all creating a theme of something big, something crashing and flooding, moving like the ocean through this forest to reveal I don't know what yet. Okay, but it's a very powerful image that something is going to happen in our story. It's balanced with things like shadow and light. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad yet. Teddy's not given too much away. But it's a really nice setting description to open our scene. Avani and Millie. The psychedelic sky hovering under the misty clouds over the hidden forest. Here the girls were, I think it was Avani, had learned or read the word psychedelic and wanted to use it. Psychedelic is lots of crazy madness, swirling colour, lots going on, and then they've used words like misty and hidden. That's telling me, the reader, something crazy is going to happen and it's going to reveal something in this long forgotten forest. Okay, so I've deliberately chosen those words. Layla. The plain evening sky lay completely blank, until, from the shadows, a female figure appeared, mysteriously followed by a beam of light. It followed her, shining brightly, erupting from the ground through the cracks in the rocks, illuminating the entire forest floor. Again, so you've all managed to do this, you've managed to balance your description. So we've got plain, blank, shadows, something I can't quite, it's kind of nothingy, the shadows, what's happening, beam of light, shining brightly, erupting, illuminating, something big has happened in that forest. It's because of this girl, and I need to find out what. Okay, so if we look at our success criteria, now this was our first week where we were looking at vocabulary, so there's not much of a range of clause structures other than Layla's, which I worked with her to make a bit longer. However, you could magpie these and extend them and add extra information and add your subordinate clauses or add fronted adverbials. Or if you've got this nice, beautiful, descriptive opening sentence, the next one might be something more punchy, more powerful, a short, simple, snappy sentence. So you've built this image in your reader's head, and then bang, you've given them the next piece of the puzzle. Next part of the success criteria, ambitious vocabulary, we've just discussed, and it's brilliant. Fronted adverbials could be added, and then we haven't got any speech here, okay? But this stuff, if you choose to write about this image today, steal their stuff. If it's on my screen, you can have it. You got to make it better. You got to make it your own. You got to add stuff. If it's your stuff, obviously you can have it. Okay. This one, Dragon and the Girl. We talked about this one a lot. Here we're obviously looking at fronted adverbials, and some of you who then worked on me with clause structures have gone back and added embedded clauses and things. So heart beating, the girl who was petrified clung to the enormous dragon. His eyes were as red as fire as he pounded his wings against the vast night sky. Okay, heart beating, they're nervous. You've shown me she's nervous by heart beating. You've told me she's nervous. You've told me she's petrified, even better. Clinging. So all of her actions are adding to that idea that she's nervous. Then we've got enormous dragon. His eyes are red as fire. He's pounding his wings. So all those word choices are creating in my head this big, powerful creature who is going to dominate the skies. And we've got against the vast night sky. This tells me all of the words the girls chose here, they are heading into battle. They're heading into something scary, something they need to do to win the victory or to save someone or something. Another one the girls did was as quick as a flash, the dragon set off rapidly to stop the enemy. So we've got as quick as a flash matched with the word rapidly. As evening approached, the monstrous dragon glided through the night sky. Now this one could have a different meaning. We've got as evening approached, so as it's starting to get dark, monstrous dragon glided through the night sky. If he's gliding across the sky, with the use of the word monstrous and me knowing that it's getting darker, he's almost reigning over the sky, reigning over the land. He's in charge. Maybe he's a baddie in this sentence. It would be about your other decisions that you make as you go on, if you create that image in the reader's head. Ethan. Out of the blue, looking like it had appeared from nowhere, a mystical dragon hid in the massive trees. Might change the word massive, might up-level that. He's got his embedded clause adding more information. If we took that out, it would still make sense. Out of the blue, a mystical dragon hid. So remember, that's how they work. And then he's got, considering the options, they stared uneasily into the impressive landscape which spread out beneath them. This could be a really nice starting sentence. So he hasn't described the setting yet, but it's certainly told the reader there's something to find out about. So we've seen a range of fronted adverbials here. We've seen ambitious vocabulary. And we've also seen where people have up-leveled to include a range of clause structures. Okay, a couple more. Heart beating, the two victors, flourishing with joy, glided through the peaceful evening sky. This time, heart beating and gliding, I know, are victorious, are happy vocab choices. Their hearts are beating because they are full of adrenaline, having won whatever happened in the day. I know they've won because they've chosen the word victors. Flourishing with joy, like that word flourishing is life, is alive. So whatever was going to happen, they've come out triumphant and they are alive and their hearts are beating and they are now gliding peacefully. So not gliding like they're reigning over the land, but gliding peacefully over a now free land. And we've got as quick as a flash. The dragon, along with the girl in bedded claws, stormed after the enemy, not wanting to lose them again. Stormed after. We're at the sort of problem of our story is they've had something happen. It's gone wrong. They're going to go back in and get the enemy. Annie and Lucy, holding on nervously, the shaking girl, who was petrified, and her vicious dragon, prepared to. Sorry, my camera's collide with the enemy. Holding on, shaking, petrified. You give me loads of information there, and collide with the enemy. This is the action-packed bit of our story. I love it. Then, very different theme, smiling happily, the victorious girl set off through the winding trees, her delighted dragon twirling in triumph, having beaten the enemy. What a beautiful ending to the story there. She's happy. She's victorious. The winding trees are like she's just taking her time. Delighted dragon twirling in triumph. Two examples of alliteration to show a sing-songy, happy ending. Now, Freddie went on a different path. Holding on tightly. This tells us they're holding on ready, but they're nervous. The girl and the bold dragon ventured through the dense forest, making sure to stay above the treacherous undergrowth. Okay, this tells us they know they've got a challenge ahead. Dense, treacherous, wiry vines eager to trip its victims up. The bushes acting like vicious wild dogs, their claws ready to attack. So here he's used figurative language and personification. It's telling us, it's a setting description. We haven't even got to the other side of the forest yet. We've got to get through this first problem. Courageously, they push on through. So Freddie's moving the reader on forward. Don't worry, they're going to get through this forest, heading towards the long-forgotten cave of imagination. As evening approached, so he's moving the reader on again. So they're now through. We're coming to the end of the day, coming to the end of this part of our story. What's going to happen next? They came to rest and recharge their strength for the daunting days that would follow. So if Freddie chooses to do the dragon and the girl picture, he's got himself his first paragraph. Okay. So your task today is to choose one of these images and to write about it. You can work on your own. You can work with a partner. Some of you have already been working in partners and have been working brilliantly. And you might now want to plan together and write separately, or you might want to write together. Some of you have been working on your own with me, but might like an opportunity to write with someone else. Some of you might have been working in pairs, but just want to work on your own now. That's fine. We've worked a lot on the dragon and the girl, the tree creature, and the enchanted forest pictures. Some of you haven't seen the haunted house picture at all, but I've put it there because some of you like that style of writing. You'll choose a picture and create a brief plot. Who's in the story? What's happening? Where are they? Why are they there? What's going to happen? What's your cliffhanger? You're going to decide on 1 to 3 characters. I don't want you spending loads of time thinking about names that I don't care about. The girl and the dragon can stay as the girl and the dragon. The boy and the tree creature can stay as that. The girl, the ghost, can stay as that. So please don't waste time on names. Then you're going to set the scene. Now, the more exciting ones are the 4 we've looked at before, because you can decide what on earth this scene is. We really don't have much information. And you're going to introduce some action and dialogue. These pictures, I have no idea where the story could go. And it's completely up to you whether it's going to be an enchanting, magical journey you take me on, or whether it's going to be haunting and horrible and scary and death-defying. The haunted house one will be more predictable because we know what happens in haunted houses. However, if you want to choose that one, of course you can. Just make sure you're showing off all the skills we've been practicing. And then I want to see some dialogue, some conversation between your characters. And then you're going to end on a cliffhanger. Okay, so it's going to be 3 paragraphs. You're going to open the scene, set the scene in the reader's head. Then you're going to give us some action and some conversation, cliffhanger. Okay? If you choose to use some of the work that we've already looked at, then a lot of the work's already done. And I know some of you had really good ideas about what might be happening in the picture when we had our session, so you can use those ideas to create your story. So what you'll have is a planning sheet like this. You will choose your characters, describe the setting, what's the plot, any notes you want to make, or anything you want to magpie. So you'll have the PowerPoint printed and you can magpie things. I think you'll need 15 minutes to plan, 10, 15 minutes to plan. And then you'd be looking at spending 20 to 30 minutes writing. The reason I say 20 to 30 minutes is some of you, it takes a while to get you going. But we've done a lot of work on these pictures, so hopefully you've got a starting point. But also, I want you to be constantly going back and think, actually, that word doesn't fit our theme, or that word would be even better if we want to create this dark image in our reader's head. So there should be lots of purple pen happening, lots of things being added and changed, and lots of asterisks and arrows, and making things longer and better and more purposeful. So you've each got a planning sheet for the images. Okay, and it's time to write. Let's do this thing. Very excited to see what you come up with. Use each other. That's the reason we've put you in groups for this last session. So really discuss everything you've liked, everything you've learned, and all your ideas to create a really powerful short story. And hopefully I will get to read them before this baby arrives and I can give you some feedback. Enjoy. You're all brilliant writers, so you should be enjoying this writing process. No one should be sat there getting stressed. If you're sat there getting stressed, ask a friend, ask a teacher, steal something from the PowerPoint to get you going, and enjoy.